Okay, so we're back here on Dual Island. There was a couple boosters I didn't open, but I didn't get any cards that I put in my deck, so I can show that later on when I show my card album. I stopped at the lab and changed out for my megas. So I ditched Gromma for Sakuyamon. I ditched Kabuterimon for Gallantmon for Guilmon, and what did I ditched Armormon for Tanagermon. There we go. What? You asshole. Yay! For the first try. Oh great, there's a metal Enamon up there. Oh shit. This might not be good. up again! That's awesome! I mean, despite these having high level decks, these last two haven't been hard. I mean, they get funky cards that I have to try to work around, but other than that, Jesus! Okay, I am not gonna lie, that is one tough son of a bitch. That took me like at least 15 tries, and I'll tell you one thing. If you're using an emulator and you're using save states, you can cheat. Because one thing I discovered, because after, admittedly, I cheated, okay? I totally admit that I cheated there. And how I cheated was, I knew exactly what cards he used and what cards he targeted, you know, after so many attempts. And all that, like that chicken north sector, all I needed to do was just get the right cards in order. Now, while their deck, they will always summon, well, not always summon, because, you know, depending on what you pull, does affect what they pull. Well, I mean, what they use. I mean, obviously they're not going to use the program card if they don't have to, but they get the same cards in the same order every time. You don't. Obviously your initial hand changes, you know, every time, and also your second hand can change every time, because after that first win I got, I made a save state. I'm like, just in case, because I was more concerned about in the second and third battles, especially if I lost the second, is if the order I use my, you know, if I got any program cards, if the order I use them in may affect the outcome, because sometimes it does. And obviously I lost, but the next time I reloaded it and I got a completely different hand the second time than I did the first. So apparently your deck is completely reshuffled, you know, every time. So, what, you know, and like I said, on the second round, your cards are not in the same order. So what cards you pull is pretty much completely random from your deck of cards. So like I said, you know, even though obviously your deck should have the cards in the same order every time, they don't. So now we can get the crap out of here. So I got really lucky with that, because like I said, I mean, I was more expecting just, you know, I needed to change, you know, just in case that the order of the cards I have would get me a win, but just depending on how, you know, what order I pulled them in, and apparently that's not the case. Because my real second hand the first time was nothing but Digimon. So things like come in handy, like, pulling a, if you have, like, two, cards, I just did that battle like 2 minutes ago, and I can't remember a damn thing. But I know it happened at least once. If you, and obviously they have freeze bugs, but if you have, like, an Eclipse Undo and a control parts in the deck, use the Eclipse Undo first, and he'll freeze bug that, and then use the control parts, because he does not have two freeze bugs in the same hand at the same time. So, if you can, and I've used the strategy before, if you know they have a freeze bug, you can actually trick them into using it on one card that will obviously help you and hurt them, but if you get a better card that will do that, use the crappier one first and they'll freeze bug that. And basically they just wasted it. Well, not really wasted it, but, you know, wasted it in the sense that you have a slightly better advantage still in the hand that you haven't played. But they don't know that yet, but, I mean, it really does help a lot that they, their cards, they get summoned at the same time, every battle. So I suppose you guys have had enough of the side questing for now. Now we're gonna briefly get along with the plot before we do even more side questing, since we're nearby anyway, so this is a perfect advantage. We're finally gonna go to Amaterasu City. And then as soon as we do that, we get a whole bunch of side, for about a whole 5 minutes or so, okay? So, he'll be filled in. But you're gonna have to wait until the next part, because I am out of time. So what's gonna happen? See ya.